Jetoctopus report consists of several basic sections. These are problems, analytics, data table, and segments that work for all the sections. Now we're going to take a closer look at each of them. The problems section shows the most critical problems and errors that can be found on the website by means of different automatic checkups. Each section starts with a dashboard, and here we can see the total number of crawled pages, the number of pages with critical errors, and the number of pages with warning issues. Here we're talking not about the total number of errors at the website, but about the number of pages with errors. For instance, some pages may lack titles or meta descriptions, or may have duplicate content. Here, such pages will be counted just once. Thanks to this, you can see the real number of problem pages and not just a figure of all the errors that may vary from case to case. In this case, we can see the most errors are with those HTML. Moving here, we can see the list of main issues. These are issues related to the given section. Those are empty meta descriptions. We've also got iframe tags that are considered as warning issues, and the pages lack H1 tags. There are additional diagrams for many reports. In the case given, we see the duplication detail diagram, which shows the correlation between the duplicate and unique titles, meta descriptions, and headers. It should be mentioned that Jetoctopus counts duplicates not in strict compliance, but by a normalized form. For example, if you put two queries on a page, say black iPhone and buy iPhone black, in the framework of strict compliance, they wouldn't be considered as duplicates because their titles are different. But as you know, SEs process text much smarter. Thus, thanks to normalized form, we can state that these queries will be considered as duplicates. All this information is shown in the normalized form chart. Here you can see empty tags, title lengths, meta description lengths. The same with the technical section. We can see that the site has no serious problems. Its technical arrangement is rather good. You can see the breakdown of status codes, loading time, and page sizes. In the content section, we also have very nice diagrams that help to work with web stores and other sites that may have thin pages problem. With the help of word count range, you can see at once those pages containing less than 50, 100, or 200 words. There's an option of switching to unique word mode. Sometimes it happens that some widgets are duplicated or SEO text comes twice. This will be seen at once by the changed number of all words and unique words. In the next chart, we can see that the total number of all words on the page is 1,023, and the number of unique ones is 405. It's hard to tell whether it is good or bad in this case, but if we take a page with 5,000 and 500 words respectively, that would be the issue demanding a deeper analysis into finding out what the problem is. There is also a text HTML ratio chart that shows the correlation between the text size and the whole HTML size on the page. How does it help? We often face such situations when websites are created in ASP.NET, especially in old versions, which generate a lot of 80 kilobyte service codes which are not visible on the page, which is practically useless, but adds too much weight to the page. It is the same way with the links section. We analyze and consider it bad when only one link refers to the page, especially for a site with 1 million pages. We consider it a warning issue when there's less than 10 links. In general, the problems section helps to quickly find critical errors on the website. It is especially important when there's a new customer and you need to get a general picture of how his or her site is doing as soon as possible. Or when launching a new site, you need to quickly estimate how well it will work. The next section is analytics. Here, we're not speaking about what is good or what is bad. It is more like some kind of X-raying of websites. Here, the system collects the data, and the user decides for himself what is good and what is bad. Here you can see the number of crawled pages, the number of indexable pages. That means a page must have a status code 200. It must be allowed for indexing by directives of, for example, robots.txt, meta tag robots, robots headery, etc. Plus, it mustn't be canonical or self-canonical. We also can see the number of known pages. For instance, we've crawled 1 million pages, and we've got another 27 million found pages in a queue that are available for further crawling. And here we can see the average load time of the site. The first chart page type shows the correlation between the indexable and non-indexable pages. It should be mentioned that all of the diagrams, almost everything that you see, is clickable. For example, if you want to build a non-indexable page on the 4th nesting level, you click here and go to a data table with set filters like distance from index, for, and is indexable, no, thus you can immediately start working with the page. I'll tell you later about the data table. So, in the analytics dashboard, you can see general information, status codes, load time, found top directories, and link distribution. The next important section is indexation. Just from one graph, you can see at once how the site is indexed, what is indexable, what is blocked. And as we are studying the example of a web store, we get a classic picture. Lots of non-canonical pages to conceal filter pages. Here is the flowchart. It displays the way instructions are followed. Every site follows them differently, and here you can see the correspondence between the instructions and the way they are followed and indexed. Below is a rather rare chart called extra meta robots. They are sometimes used, but are more often forgotten, which can cause various errors afterwards. No snippets, no archives, no translate, no image index. In the context of our study, we can see that there are pages with no archive. You can't say this is bad, but if you've never indicated these instructions or you don't want them but they are shown in this diagram, that's the sign for you to pay attention to them. The Real Tabs subsection shows the breakdown of pages with no tags, self-canonical, and canonical pages. The same data is displayed by depth. One of the most important diagrams is Canonical Evaluation, which shows how many non-canonical pages there are. Here we can see 810,000 pages. How many pages are canonicalized by number? Out of 810,000, there are 3,200 canonical pages. This allows you to estimate the volume of filters. Here, it is clear that the number of filters is simply gigantic, perhaps an infinite number that produces such a combination. The next diagrams here are pagination, relative mobile alteration, and relative hreflang by depth. Let's move on to the technical subsection, performance. In the load time breakdown, we can see how fast the site works. The load time of the site is 1/2 second. That's good. A little bit lower, we see the load time is from 1/2 to 1 second. That's not bad, but faster would be better. Plus, there's 11 pages that didn't load due to a timeout. There's another graph called load time by status code. Sometimes a site loads 200 code pages rather fast, but with some redirects or 404 pages, it slows down to 5 to 7 seconds or even more. This diagram will provide you immediately with this information. Here, we can see that there are no such problems found with this site. Then there are breakdowns load time by languages and page size. You can see small pages less than 200 kilobytes, medium pages from 200 to 500 kilobytes, and big pages over 500 kilobytes. These settings are entered into the account settings or the crawler settings. That means everyone can choose his own size settings. The next subsection contains a breakdown of status codes. Here you can see the information on status codes and a page loaded after error diagram. Let me tell you how a crawler works with error pages. If we can't load the page due to a timeout or the server gives a 5XX code, an internal server error, we try to load this page over and over again. There's a special algorithm working in order to load the page in the meantime. And if the page couldn't load at first, but loaded after several tries, this page goes to this report so that you can see that there are problems with them. This report should be taken to the technical support in order to see the page logs and find out why the page didn't load initially. Even if all the pages do load okay, but some pages fail from time to time, there's a chance that Google might send you a message. There are errors found on the website afterwards. Let's move on to the HTML section. This section contains data concerning titles, meta descriptions, and everything that is not in the body tag. Here we can see a breakdown of words in titles, meta descriptions, and headers. This is the title words analysis. Titles, like any other text content, are analyzed by unique words. Some websites, like aggregators, web stores, catalogs, widely use auto-generation. For example, you can meet such patterns as buy a phone in Moscow, best choice of phones in Moscow, or something like that. These titles seem long and unique, but if you look at the text content, you'll see that the number of unique words is rather small. With the help of this chart, you can see the correspondence between all words and unique ones. Here, you can see that we've got quite a lot of titles with over 8 words, but there are much less titles containing unique words. And these unique words go to the group 0 to 5. This means there are duplicate words on the site. Pay attention to it. If the difference is twice or even 3 times more, that's a sign of overspammed content. The next chart displays the same analysis in depth. We see that it happens more than on the 3rd and 4th levels. There must be some catalog pages with duplicate words. In meta descriptions, they ought to be relevant. The same with headers. A separate subsection is duplications. Here is collected the data on duplications. It is considered one of the most popular problems. In the chart titled Duplication Breakdown, we can see a clear picture of how many unique, empty, duplicated, and duplicated by normalized form titles there are. I'd like to remind you that if you want to see the details of, say, the duplicated titles, you just click here. And you go to the data table containing all the information on the problems in question. Another chart, Title Duplication Group Size, shows exactly how the titles are duplicated. For instance, on 1 million pages, there might be one title duplicated for 1 million times. There will be a group size 1 million pages, or there might be 500,000 titles, each duplicated twice. Then you'll see that a title has got one duplicate. The next diagram, Most Duplicated Titles, shows the examples of the duplicated titles. Also, we've got the same breakdown of meta descriptions. Actually, this section allows us to estimate the site condition in the context of duplicates. The next section is content. Here we can see the breakdown of words on the page. Special attention should be paid to the extreme values. For example, there's a lot of large groups of pages with 10 to 20 words. sometimes due to different reasons. Let's say ill realization or Ajax uploads. There appear pages with fragments of other pages, for example, pages with men's and women's clothes sizes. There are very few words, but they are indexable, or you see that there are 10,000 words on the page when you know it can't be so. In other words, extreme values always need further analysis. Again, you can switch to the unique words mode. The next one is Text HTML Ratio Breakdown. The same by depth and a chart displaying the correlation between all words and unique ones. The next important section is Link Overview. Our crawler can analyze any number of links there are on the site. Here, we see that on the site with 1 million pages, it crawled 323 million links. If you've got 20 billion links, you'll get statistics on all 20 billion links without any looping. Here is a general diagram showing how many internal, external, and social links there are on the site. Now we go to the internal links section. When we analyze the internal link, we can always see whether it is allowed by robots.tx or not. And in the given example, we see that all the links are allowed. In the following diagram, we see the correspondence between attributes rel, follow, and nofollow links. Some SEO experts say that there shouldn't be any nofollow links. Others believe that you can sculpture page rank with their help, and so on. So here you see this breakdown. Below you can see how many image and text links there are. Then there's a Href Protocol. This one will be of use when you've moved your site to HTTPS and see that you still have almost 1 million HTTP links. Knowing this, you can export and start removing the old links. Two other diagrams, Href Absolute, Relative, and Href Target, show whether it is possible to open the new tabs or not. The next point is text analysis. Here we can see that out of 310 million, 278 million are not unique. It also shows the number of unique and empty ones. Those cannot be text, but image links. There's a breakdown of words in anchors. Image alt words analysis, title links analysis, words links analysis. Here we can see examples of top anchors and examples of top images alt. In external links, there are additional breakdowns of social links, follow and no-follow external links. Many websites, like news sites, always use no-follow external links. Then there are top domains, the correlation between text and images, Href Protocol, and target types. The text analysis of external links is pretty much the same as that of internal links. You can see a breakdown of all the attributes, but usually text analysis of external links is not as important as of internal ones. And the last one is sitemaps. It is necessary to customize the crawler settings so that the sitemaps should load and be analyzed. The most important moment here is orphan pages. This means that there are found pages on the sitemaps which are not found by the crawler. The presence of such pages is considered a critical error which is to be corrected as soon as possible. The below breakdown shows how many there are on such pages. The last report is data table. We call it Excel for this site. There are over 140 filters with the help of which you can make various data selections on the site. For example, let's find the pages with duplicate titles. Title duplicated count greater or equal 1, start searching. $1 million pages is processed, and we add a column titled duplications and the same by one normalized form. We've got the results. Now let's look at the most frequently duplicated pages. You can see that the title New In on Woman Gamus is duplicated 372,000 times. And if we want to look at them, we click here. And we've got 372,000 filtered titles, and we can start working with them. Can add some attributes. For instance, we can look at count of in links all, the more linked pages. Start searching. We put ticks to see additionally the number of in redirects and, say, of in canonicals. Here we are. We can see the URL of the page, New Women. It has a duplicated title and contains 378,000 canonicals and 1.8 million links. Now you can start working with optimization and interlinking. Any result can be further adjusted with the help of columns. There are lots of options so that you can find whatever you need. Any report can be exported, no matter how big its size. There are the same data tables for links. You can easily filter all 323 million links by different attributes, export, etc. There are the same data tables for sitemap files and sitemap URLs in case they are analyzed. It is very convenient in case you want to see what's inside XML sitemaps. You don't need to crawl all the 20 million URLs that are in the sitemap. Crawling of 1,000 pages would be enough, and all the 20 million would be loaded from the sitemaps. They won't be crawled, but you'll be able to analyze the number of URLs in each sitemap file, the number of incorrect URLs, error URLs, and work with them. That's very convenient. And the last is segments. It is very important when working with big sites or even medium ones, as there are often various subsections like catalogs, news, blogs, etc. There are always two present segments, all pages and indexable pages. For instance, we want to add a segment. Let's check if there's a URL containing women. No, too few. Let's take wholesale. Right, 100,000 pages. Now we are in the analytics section and we want to add a wholesale segment. We click Add a Segment, name it Wholesale, and add a filter that the page URL should contain wholesale. Save the segment. Done. The calculations are made in no time, and we see that it contains 107,000 pages, 32,000 indexable ones. You can work with and see the information within the given segment. It is incredibly convenient. They work really fast. You can easily switch between them. The number of such segments may be unlimited. Again, you can see all the problems, work in data tables, etc. I mean, you can slice the site the way you need and work with the slice you want. I hope I've made it clear enough. We'll be glad to welcome you as our clients.